Boom.
Welcome to this week's Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast. I'm Kevin. It's my sidekick and partner in crime, Brandon.
Happy Christmas.
Yeah, that's true. We're recording this on Friday, December 23rd. As we do generally, we record these on Fridays. So there's going to be an exception coming up next week. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Merry Christmas to you. Happy Christmas, whatever the... is that just kind of, it's immediately linked, just Merry Christmas?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's proper nomenclature.
Shouldn't you just have like any kind of hey, huzzah, Christmas to you,
Yeah, better than go fuck yourself, really.
Pretty sure that probably goes around with some families.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we get together to talk about things that kind of catch our attention in those three main categories, and often we'll also get a little off the track as well. The Mead update for the week is the same as last week. I had a little bit of an occupational week of grieving I had to do. I had a loss of my employer through a weird little accident last weekend. So we didn't get around to getting anything done as far as the Mead goes. So that means we're going to have to kind of step it up into high gear and get labels ready and get...
Labels should be ready Sunday. Hopefully bottle Tuesday or Wednesday,
right.
Maybe.
Get 4 cases of bottles sanitized, sterilized, and ready to go. Racking all of those. It's going to be a busy work week next week in the meadery. So, but we don't have a whole big update here necessarily. Ended up buying a couple bottles and got them off down to my brother down in Austin.
Hope he enjoys.
Appreciates the work we do. Well, and he did a pretty big donation to the band a while back, and
True.
4 bottles, and but he was kind of hanging on to them all and waiting for the holidays. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna give him a couple bottles for Christmas. And
they always want to hold on to it, man.
Yeah, I was like, no, this is for fun.
Well, that's why a bottle of our very first run got to be enjoyed about a solid year later.
Right.
It's because of this stuff.
A lot of people were sitting on it.
Only to find out it actually was still amazing. Much to my surprise.
Well, about every batch we do, it just gets better with time. I don't recall one that we had that got worse over
the herbal mead actually got a lot better with time.
A bunch better.
With time. Yeah, you see what I did there? Herbal mead, time.
Oh, punny of you. But anyway, so the Holly King batch, yeah, it's ready for folks, our donators. But the thing is, even if we've got a case of those still sitting around, which I think we're right at a little over a case, but
yeah.
I mean, we'll just go ahead and box them up. Well, they're already boxed up. We'll just go ahead and tape them off and just put it back in the storeroom and let it sit for a year. In which case, then it'll be $30.
That's right. It'll be a fancy bottle, folks.
So that's really the meadery update this week. We don't have a whole lot going on. Next week is going to be busy. And we've got to really get things wrapped up next week because then Brandon's going to go off to
going off to Vegas to die.
Have a
bacchanalian last week. That's right.
Birthday celebration
in the belly of the beast.
So next week it's kind of our go week. Otherwise, we're going to have to pretty much.
And then the weekend after that is going to be the memorial episode for me. You have to do it by yourself.
Pretty sure we kind of go derail the episodes at that point. But yeah, that's kind of the deal there. We'll have because. Well, actually, you know what? You're going to be here on one Friday, and you'll be back again the next Friday, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. Well, barring any kind of...
I mean,
barring somebody like borrowing some of your kidneys and leaving you in an ice cube.
I'm hoping one of those like $1 million proposals for like guys like I just want to watch you guys bang. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to watch.
Yeah,
and then it
happens all the time.
It does. If it happens in the movies, it has to happen in Vegas. Where there's smoke, there's fire, man.
So, Mead update this week. That's it. It's going to be a busy week next week. Otherwise, we're going to have a bunch of 2017s on our levels. So, moving on to the metal portion. I promised I would start kind of scouting more tunes out there. And came across one particular band I would recommend checking out. I don't know exactly how to classify them because they kind of, about the time you think you have them kind of figured out, then another tune comes on. It's like, God, that's nothing like the last one. But the band is SubRosa, I believe is the pronunciation, SubRosa. You'll find it both in 2 words or one.
Band from Sheffield, right?
I think so, yeah. But but I'll go ahead and give them the tip of the cap because they played Hellfest. If you're playing that show, you're obviously a metal band.
You have to be of some strong ilk.
As I drop everything over here. So that was kind of my contribution on bands to check out this week.
You know who else is from Sheffield?
Who's that?
Def Leppard.
Well, all right.
Which, by the way, is the hot new metal band I found out about over the weekend. Actually, no. The band, it's not a band that I found out about. I've known about them for a long time, but I've been listening to a lot of Soilwork lately.
Okay, they're out of Sweden.
Yeah, Swedish, basically like prog's not a good word. Just technical speed metal.
Right.
Where they started as one of those bands, really aggressive vocals, not a whole lot of harmony. I mean, they were there, but it was really focused on aggression. Around 2001, they put out an album called Natural Born Chaos, and a lot of harmonies in it, and a lot of more slowed down technical guitar, but still a little bit of that edge that brought them to where they were at the time. And that's when I found out about them. Then I got to be able to just jump in their back catalog, listen to Predator's Portrait. There's some really great technical speed metal on there, if that's your bag.
Well, I remember because about 3 years ago, you were going to go catch one of their shows over in Lubbock.
Yeah. It was at first it was a headlining show at Jake's Back Room, which I was like, oh, cool, I'm there. Intimate.
Yeah, Jake's area. If you want a close knit, kind of a small club feel.
Yeah, it's great, especially, and this is a band of renown in my opinion. And but then something happened, and they got condensed down into some shitty festival thing they were doing down there.
Yeah.
Which had like 3 Days Grace, that Lubbock metal.
Yeah, right.
That Lubbock metal I always talk about, like Five Finger Death Punch is Lubbock metal.
Sure.
The only people that will know what the fuck I'm talking about are people within a 90-mile radius of where I'm sitting right now. But they got condensed. It was going to be an hour and a half Soilwork headlining show to a 30-minute, probably 4-song set. So I said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to pay $40.
No. I mean, $40 if it's a festival arrangement and the majority of the bands are bands you want to see, that's probably $40 well spent. But if you're going for one act, you're just throwing money away.
Exactly.
Well, here's something else. It involves a lot of things. As a matter of fact, one of our listeners wanted us to address this. And actually, it came off of Russia's Facebook page.
I've seen it on a lot of bands' Facebook pages, actually. Yeah.
So, but bear with me. They say, we're saddened to hear the news of the sudden and abrupt demise of Classic Rock Magazine, Prog Magazine, Metal Hammer, Team Rock Radio, Team Rock Online, as well as the Prog Awards and the Classic Rock Awards. Apparently, they just went ahead and shut down. 73 staffers are affected that are now without a job or wages just for the holidays. And the rock community is kind of stepping up, trying to help out as much as they can. I feel, I kind of feel like an asshole in pointing this out, but the age of the magazine, I'm afraid, is probably beyond. I love the idea of a magazine.
Right.
And when I read that, I thought, oh, that sucks. Well, how many magazines do I have a subscription to or buy off the newsstand regularly? And if your answer, if your guess is around the ballpark of 0, you'd be correct.
The last magazine subscription I had was a video game magazine subscription. I think it was like for EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Right. Now, I think everything's just gone over. Now, granted, I recognize that they also closed down their online portion. I think less information is bad. Now, I get it with the paper, the bound magazine portion of it. That's
right.
They're the harness makers in the world of the automobile right now. But yeah, the online portion of that they were doing, providing a lot of information to fans. It's really crappy to see that go.
Well, Metal Hammer, I think, is the big one.
Right.
Out of the 4 that are being shut down, that's one of her now.
Classic Rock Magazine was, but I mean, now the thing is too, it's not like they're going to be introducing a lot of new acts over Classic Rock Magazine. But the Classic Rock Awards, I mean, there were some things of medium importance, that were going on. But nonetheless, though, it's kind of bad to see that go in the direction that it has, because frankly, like I said, more information is better, and when you go to close it down multiple publications, then that's less information that's out there.
It really does suck. I mean, when there was a magazine store in Clovis, you sell porn as well.
Of course, metal and porn.
But they had like the kung fu books, the kung fu magazines and shit, and the video game magazines right next to the porn. So it was real easy to go over there and check something out if you wanted to. I was like 16, but it was always so much fun. It was Hit Parader magazine.
Hit Parade, yeah.
I used to collect those fucking things as a teenager, and it was so much fun to read through them and just learn about what was going on. Because I mean, in this community, it's not like right when the internet was super young, there was no way to find out about new music unless you had a computer at home.
Yeah, what was that one place they had in Clips? Dragon's Lair, right?
Oh, Dragon's Lair.
I mean, that's where I would get, because they'd put out samplers on a monthly basis. That's how
The corner samplers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get, that's kind of how I learned about a variety of acts. I guess probably first time I'd ever even heard of Coal Chamber, I think, probably came off one of those samplers.
They were a big supporter of Coal Chamber. Every time they came to Lubbock, there were times, because we were pretty close with the folks at Dragon's Lair, to the point where, like, when they would do a show, they'd sell tickets for it and collect all the money. And they would basically give us a free ticket to the show, sometimes backstage if they were doing that thing, to take what tickets remained and the money to Lubbock and just basically hand it off to them and get to go take in a free show for it.
Right. That was great to go because you could get, introduced to new music, looking for any kind of weird SubRosa T-shirts. They were there.
Man, that's the best part. When the show is over in the parking lot, all the people scalping T-shirts, basically. I saw Mudvayne in Lubbock, no shit, 4 times before they broke up. I've seen them more than I've seen Metallica, and I don't know why. It just always happened to be that anytime I go to a show in Lubbock, Mudvayne was playing.
Yeah. No, I've had the same experience with Cheap Trick at a lot of concerts. I've seen Cheap Trick 4 times now. Yeah.
And it was like never your intent, right?
No, it was never like, hey, guess what? Cheap Trick's going to be opening for Deep Purple or something. No.
But I always, because the only T-shirts they had in the parking lot after the game, because I'm not going to spend $30 on a fucking T-shirt. I'm like 20 years old.
Right.
I had enough money for drugs and for liquor.
At least you had the priorities, right?
Well, yeah. One had to come before the other. And but Mudvayne always had, there were shitty T-shirts for their tour. $5. Of course I'm going to buy one.
Right.
So I have a small collection of Mudvayne bootleg tour shirts that will probably never see the light of day.
I had an Iron Maiden bootleg for a very long time, and that they were selling on the parking lot after a show down in El Paso, outside the El Paso Coliseum.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they didn't even make an effort to try to make it look legitimate, because the front was Peace of Mind, and on the back was Number of the Beast. So it's 2 album covers back to back on a shirt. Yeah, that's not going to be, that's not going to fly with the label. So
yeah, one of my Mudvayne shirts is basically just a very poorly cut out picture of them, and in Sanskrit font it says Mudvayne, which is a font that doesn't fit the band like at all. It's really, I think they were trying to go for like some weird southwestern cool thing, but
it's tough to wear those out in public because real fans are going to see you and go, hey man.
Yeah, I don't want to be judged by other Mudvayne fans, so I leave mine in the closet.
All right. Well, we're already getting pretty deep in the podcast. We need to get to the MMA portion here. First of all, big breaking news this week.
Yeah, actually, even more so breaking since, of course, talking about Cyborg getting popped by USADA.
Justine Cyborg Santos.
That's right.
Christian, yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, Cyborg is what everybody knows.
Basically, she got popped by USADA, and apparently just recently it was shown it's a diuretic that she tested for.
Don't diuretics just get rid of water loss? I mean, don't they just provide water loss in the system?
Yeah, but let's see. The promotion released a statement on Thursday announcing Cyborg has been notified of a potential anti-doping violation stemming from an out-of-competition sample collected on December 5th. This is from SureDog. As usual, USADA will handle the results management and appropriate the case. The Brazilian will be entitled to a full legal review process.
Adjudication.
There you go. Thanks, sir. Before any sanctions are levied. While USADA did not reveal the results of the test, Justino announced on her Facebook page that she tested positive for the diuretic spironolactone. Wow, my grandfather was on that. Spironolactone. According to the fighter, the substance is part of a therapeutic treatment being administered to me by a doctor that started the 26th of September, and it's supposed to last for a period no less than 90 days, requiring blood exams at the completion. So it sounds like she's potentially eligible for a 1-year ban.
Yeah, no, because that's not a performance enhancer.
No, but
I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to be trying to, make weight with that, because it's an unfair advantage on that.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of things banned for really weird reasons.
Right.
And I guess this is just one of them.
Yeah, I mean, you look no further than, because you think, well, an IV is good for anybody if it's just saline. So no, you can't do your weight cut and then get on an IV, because That's also a violation under USADA.
Yeah, apparently if you're going to cut weight, you got to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, you earn it. Wow. So Cyborg probably looking at 1 year, which is good because I was afraid it might be the same thing that got John Jones in trouble, and that was a tainted dick pill.
Well, it does it potentially derail her role right now. I mean, she fights so sparingly already.
If it's 1 year, I mean, I don't see Ronda Rousey, even if she beats Nunez coming up a week from.
Or it gives that featherweight division time to form, because I mean, we don't even have a rankings set for it yet, do we?
No, I mean we have a championship fight coming up with Holly Holm and somebody up there.
Which I think is great. I think it's time to add another ladies division.
Yeah, it is weird that there's still no 125 to me. I mean, that seems to be the weight class because
it's because they wanted that for Cyborg.
Yeah, I guess.
I
the marketability in Brazil is through the roof, but this country, I don't know. She's got her fan base here as well.
Well, if UFC starts getting into the practice of throwing 2 title fights on cards every once in a while, instead of making it like a holiday type thing,
right?
Then, gosh, you could piggyback her on a huge card, and people would definitely want to watch it.
Right. Well, let's speaking of John Jones. I guess it's official now with he and Brock Lesnar. I mean, it wasn't any secret. The information was already out there what the suspensions were going to be, but those have been handed down. Jones looking at 1 year, so that's going to put him eligible to fight in July. I didn't really catch the. Did Brock get 2?
No, I think Brock got 1 as well.
Okay.
Because again, it was like I think it was tainted supplement for him as well.
Okay. Because Jones admitted it was one of these Rhino Gold or whatever. All of them are Rhino this or XL.
Always got to have Rhino in it because that's what gets you going.
But dude came clean. He said, "Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That was the supplement." So
he used the old Anderson Silva defense, and it worked.
Yeah, well, it got him a year. Now, I mean, yeah.
I call that working.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years on the shelf for someone at the top of their game is nowhere to be.
Right. Yeah, he's going to have to have some. I think he's going to have some fights under him in order just to be able to kind of really get himself back in there. Because Scott, by the time he steps in the octagon, it'll have been a year and a half.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about last week's card and really just the setback. I think the UFC.
Oh, we can't leave out the Mark Hunt's fight getting announced for 209.
You're a Mark Hunt fan.
Well, I happen to be a Mark Hunt fan.
Right.
However, I think the clause he wants in the contract is a little odd.
Pretty unenforceable, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's almost like because the fight's signed.
Yeah. Well, what he's asking for is he wants if the other fighter ends up coming up dirty at all.
It's Overeem.
Yeah, he wants the full purse of Overeem as well. UFC signs these contracts. The fighters sign the contracts put out by the promotion, and I think the promotions. I don't think they can legally make that kind of a stipulation in there. So I mean, Mark Hunt's going to fight Overeem, and it's going to be what it is. It's going to be just like every other fight you see within the UFC. It'll be that if Overeem comes in overweight, which probably shouldn't be the potential, not at heavyweight. It's actually shocking to me he's going all the way up to heavyweight because couldn't he generally been known for lightweight, right?
Light heavy.
Light heavy. Yeah. So yeah, he shouldn't have any issues with weight, but yeah, I don't think the promotion can enforce anything like that.
It would certainly be a first if they could.
No. All right, last weekend's fights on Fox, really kind of the setback on the youth movement within the UFC.
Ooh. Painful.
Paige Van Zant got choked out in the first round. Now, the thing is with Paige Van Zant, she isn't known for being a fighter. Well, she is to a degree, but that's not the cream of the crop. Her cream of the crop was the fact that she came in second on Dancing with the Stars.
Now, you put her up against just straight-up striker, she's going to have a pretty good day.
Yeah, but you come across anybody that's got any kind of ground skill, and we've seen that she doesn't have any success at all at that. So I mean, between Dancing with the Stars, the fact that she looks like a model, and that's why the UFC wants her to be the face of the strawweight division, but it's going to take a lot more work than that.
Yeah, well, you got to work on that jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
and she flat out admitted it.
Right.
She just didn't work on it.
Sage Northcutt, exactly the same deal. Mickey Gall choked him out. It wasn't the first though, but still able to get his back on the ground and rear naked choke.
Yeah, and the weird thing was, you see how Sage Northcutt really started talking some shit during the fight.
Yeah.
He
During,
he started rocking like the Diaz way of battle,
yeah.
and it did not work out.
It works if you win, but you have that's kind of the big stipulation. You can talk all the shit in the octagon that you want, but you better be able to back it up like the Diaz brothers do.
And we had to say goodbye to Faber.
You're right, Faber with his
going out the way I figured he would.
Yeah, his big last hoorah, and ended up beating a fighter that frankly I had to scratch my head to remember who he was. Pickett, right?
Brad Pickett.
He won. He was the heavy favorite and won in his hometown as he wanted to go out. Now he chose Brad Pickett as his opponent. And, good for you. It played out the way you wanted it to, Uriah. It's been a great time watching the WEC, and you've been the best gatekeeper at about 5, 6, or 7 there in the bantamweight division for a long time.
Proper measuring stick for, if you were able to get through him, then, yeah, we'll throw you a top 5 opponent.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're already over 21 minutes in. Next week, we have UFC 208. That'll be on a Friday, right about the time we're always cutting this particular podcast. So what we're going to do is, I think, if Brandon's schedule allows, I think we're going to do the podcast Thursday and get it out there to you guys before 208. And we'll kind of go ahead and take an in-depth look at that. Our Mead update will probably be, I'll try to keep it from being lengthy, but we're going to do a lot of work over this next week. Our metal segment will probably be short, so that way we can focus on 208.
Indeed.
All right. Well, we got some beers to drink.
Got a lot to do.
And a Friday night to enjoy.
Oy vey.
So anyway, folks, that's it. We'll talk again next Thursday on the Mead Metal and MMA podcast.
Merry Christmas all.
Merry Christmas.